Just thanks for everyone joining the Zoom meeting today. This is our Place to Visit program at Parasite. And we are very happy today to have the artist Pamela Leung to join us today from Australia. So thanks, Pam, for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And Pam experience is quite unique because actually she moved to Australia almost 30 something years ago, and she started her career path in the art industry just 5 years ago. So I think there are a lot of interesting experiences that Pam will be able to share with us today. And we're very happy that to see she's very connected to Hong Kong scene, even now she's based in Australia, because in the recent years of creation of hers is very related to what's happening in Hong Kong in the recent years. So I hope that through this Still Visit program today, you'll get to know more about Pam and her work. So Pam, would you like to introduce a bit yourself? When did you move to Australia and how you start to become an artist?
Okay, I came to Australia about, say, over 40 years when I was 25. And I came to Australia with a holiday visa, both $300 from my father, a suitcase, no family, and have one mutual friend, and hardly speak any English. And there I went, and I sort of really at that time I was looking for freedom, looking for a better life. It's just, I would say, at that time I was quite naive and with a bit of romantic, thinking. And at that time I was just believe I have two hands, I can survive. And also believe it's sort of saying, I was saying, 天下無難事，只怕有心人. It's sort of saying things going to be all right, and when the things come, it will going to solve itself. And also believe yes, 船到橋頭自然直, so so that's how I came to Australia over 40 years ago. And really it's I would say I'm a gambler, I'm an adventurer, even though there is no one for me to fall on. I have to really find a way myself. And also at that time, Australia to me is really just a name. I don't know anything about Australian. And as I said, I'm quite naive. And at that time, I don't, because I came from a very quite a lower class family, and very traditional. Father's very strict, not allowed to come home after 11, even I was working at those days, and not allowed to wear miniskirts, not allowed to wear messy skirts, and all those of restrictions from a traditional Chinese family. And so that's what made me, and also at that time, my job is not great. And so that's the reason I left. And then here I am, here over 40 years. I survived and I found my way, and I was working really hard for those 30 years. I got married and I have two boys, so raised them up, and running business. And then about 10 years ago, I ran up my business. At that time, I was running a cafe. My boys grow up, and even my marriage come to that end. So I start thinking, what should I do? And one person sort of know me a little bit and suggest me, why don't you go and pursue your dream? So what is my dream? My dream is when I was young, I always wanted to do painting, and I always have this idea saying, if I retire, I'm going to learn painting. And also when I finished my high school, I only have high school education because the family, financial situation, I can't, go to uni. So going to uni to get a degree and study art is sort of like my dream. And so I hit two birds in one stone. And I enrolled myself to university, and that's how I start. And was quite a scary situation because I wasn't young at all, So I tell you my age, So, it's almost 60, when, 59, I start, my first degree. And also, as I said, from the beginning, my English is not good for, day-to-day conversation, probably is okay, but when it comes to academic writing and all that, I really have a great difficulty. And so it was a hard journey. And but I do finish. I got my first degree with sculpture, and then I have an honors degree with drawing, and then finished my master's degree with painting. And that was, I finished 2016. And so it's quite a journey, with my immigrant experience that was very tough as well, for a girl to survive by myself, and with the language barrier, and even this language barrier is carried on to, to study as well. And so I remember when my first exam in the art school, and I came out screaming because, it's very frustrating. And then there's another exam. After exam, I called my mom and crying and I told my mom, I did so badly with my exam, it's such a hilarious, it's just, for over 60 years old, sort of back to, a kid, a child, and crying with mom. But then again, I really feel like, I'm a child, I back to, there's so much to learn. There's so much I like to, explore. And it's a great experience. And yeah, I was really glad I'm doing, like I have a second life, when I do my art. So there you go.
Yeah, I think it's like really inspiring to hear that even at your age, like you're trying to pursue your dream, to really like learn about what is art, and really trying out different medium and trying out what like really fits you well and what you want to create, really based on all the experiences that you have in the past in Europe, like as an immigrant, as a migrant in Australia, or as part of your identity, what you're experiencing in daily life as well. So probably, do you want to touch base on some of the work that relate to your maybe experience as a migrant and all the maybe artwork related to it? We can start from maybe the work Get Out, I think.
Get Out. Yes. Okay. This one, yeah. See, this one, this is one of my experience about, that was in my first year. I was in Australia, and I'm working in a restaurant, finished work late. I get off from the train at the station about 11 o'clock at night, and I was dark, hardly anyone there. I was by myself, walking, leaving the platform, and there was a guy coming, towards me, a white guy, big forehead, and when he approached me, when he was right next to me, he mumbled and say, "Get out, go back to your country." It was so scaring because he was big and I was, I was all by myself, and as I said, I hardly, can express myself, and was really a scary, terrible experience I had when I first arrived in this new country. And as I said on this little poem, I write, "In the dark, forehead and Becky is approaching, getting closer. He is all of a sudden, get out. I heard, go back to your," he mumbles, and right next to my ear. And so, after all this year, I've got this opportunity to show with this exhibition about the identity of the citizens here, residents here, whatever. And so I feel like that sort of experience is really like a tattoo. It's sort of embedded in you, and you never can get rid of, even if it's fading out, but it's always there. And so, and with that, and I try to, learn how to use the tattoo machine and using the tattoo technique, to present this work. And lucky, I have one of my daughter-in-laws, she's a tattoo artist, so she can show me how to work with the tattoo gun, and that is how when I yeah. And also because I believe this sort of experience is not only happened to me, it happened to all other immigrants as well. So I have this poem translated to the nine most popular language, which is Chinese, English, Hindi, Spanish, Russia, Bengali, Arab, Portuguese, and Japanese. So I have friends or people help me to translate this poem into all these different languages, and present like all this. But then, I leave the English blank because I don't think that English-speaking people will have the same experience as we do, And with this exhibition, I also have the Leon line say "get out," but in the other way of writing, opposite side. Actually, the experience what happened to me the next day when I went to work, I told my boss about what happened, and he said to me, "You should tell him to get out because this land belongs to indigenous, not belongs to the white people." So, and I'm so glad that after 40 years, I can shout out to tell them to get out, you know. That is a way I express myself to tell them, get out. Yeah. So,
I think like it's like quite, as you mentioned, it's quite a universal kind of experience that many people felt nowadays when they are leaving abroad, like especially many people probably in Hong Kong or elsewhere, that either they are forced to leave their city or country, or they are pursuing like their dream or their interest, that's why they want to move abroad. And very often when people have this experience, like they might not have a window to, like you, like to create this artwork to like express the emotions and feelings. Like I'm glad that like after these like 30 something 40 years, finally you're making this artwork to like express the feeling. Like
yeah, sort of like after being here all these years, I sort of in this sort of situation, I still, you know, like stuck, you know. My English is still seems to me is I never will be, you know, come great or perfect and whatever. But then my own language, my Cantonese or my Chinese is getting worse. You lose so much because for not using it. And it's sort of like, you know, a lot of us as an immigrant, we sort of, I found it quite often, we are in this sort of in-between situation. And it's quite frustrating sometimes. But this is how I like I'm lucky that I'll be able to do art, so I can use art as my other language to express myself. So art to me is like it's come to, you know, a language. You know, you create a language to speak for yourself, and so in a way, I feel really lucky that I'll be able to do something, you know, as such. So and as a with my practice, you know, it's very much about everyday life, meditative, with the immigrant experience, people relationships, social justice, that sort of, you know, and also I try to be, I like work to be simple and minimal, and so life is too complicated already. So I hope, you know, I can create something simple and with people who have different background and can look at different layers to my work, you know, for my work. So
yeah, it's like it's really great that art can be another expression or language that people like universally can relate to without like the language barrier that you just mentioned. And I think you have another word that relate to kind of similar to about the language barrier issue that people might experience when they are as an immigrant. I think this work. You want to talk a little bit about this?
Sorry, I now understand. Actually, this work, you know, very fortunately, I got a Merchant Art Prize from this work 2 years ago with the Great Prize. So that was, you know, a great achievement to me. I'm really, you know, happy. But with this work is the first time I've worked with Tess and worked with Leon. And with this quote, sorry, I don't understand, is sort of, I think it's very universal. Since the day one I've been here, I heard so many immigrants, you know, saying that from Greek, from Italian, you know, those non-English speaker, you know, immigrants, when they come to the situation, they say, sorry, I don't understand. It's not a proper English, right? But how many people really understand and get it? So I have this line in my mind for so long that, you know, eventually I have put it as artwork, and I've written this little poem as well, and say, sorry, I don't understand this country. Sorry, I don't understand the culture. Sorry, I don't understand the language. Sorry, I don't understand the people. Sorry, I don't have a choice. And sorry, I have to escape. Sorry, I need to live. Sorry, I need to survive. Sorry, please listen to me instead of yelling. And sorry, please be patient with me instead of annoying. Sorry, please give me a smile instead of angry. Sorry, to share some empathy instead of pity. And it's really, for me, even today, when I read this, I still come to quite emotion with myself. It's just, it's not easy, you know, to, but we go through it. We, you know, we can, you know,
Yeah, I think, yeah, with the resilience and like the bravery that like character that you have, and like it's really not difficult to like live abroad, and especially you have to raise your child, raise your family under all these constraints, and like I think it's not an easy journey for anyone who have this experience.
But as long as you know, I think at the end of the day, if we can believe ourselves to be, you know, to sit, then we get through it, you know. So there you go. Yeah.
And I think through this work, I think there's another aspect as well. It's just not your personal experience that you want to share with the audience, but actually you want to make people feel empathy for anyone who is going through this experience as well. So that some of your artwork that you involve in telling other people's story as well, not just your personal experience, such as like, I think the moments of red, you're trying to tell different personal, like very personal story of how they migrate to a city and how this experience could relate to other people as well, so that people will find strength and find like really the strength from each other to try harder and just live on and to fight, right?
Yeah, so I'm sorry, a little bit emotional, you know. Yeah, that's me. I can't help it.
Yeah, no worries. Like I think like we always get emotion when we are approaching art as well, in art making or in appreciating it. And I think that's a very, I think, beautiful part of like appreciating art, is that when you really connect with someone and when you really connect with that experience, like how the emotional exchange could be so deep. Even probably you're so far away from Hong Kong now, but in that another way we feel so connect, maybe through like through the art making. So do you want to touch upon on another project related to the migration experience, the Moments of Red, or do you want to touch upon on maybe next we could talk about other works that closer to your maybe emotions or feelings towards what's happening in Hong Kong?
Well, for what happened to Hong Kong, I'm really happy with this work I just showed last year. This is the work. It's the reaction of, you know, from myself towards Hong Kong. When I got the chance to actually, this is the process.
I think this is like, should we talk about your residency experience, because this is part of your residency work that you learned how to do printmaking and trying out a very different medium and like mixing the paper together to make this work. Do you want to start with talk about the residency and go on to this work?
I was very lucky to to be able to get this residency of from Gallery Lang Cove, the gallery from North Shore of Sydney. And I started moving in last August. And so I'm very lucky. I can show a little bit of, can you see a bit of background of my room? And that was the drawing I was doing, and some work hanging at the back, and also my another desk. And then I have a sink. And this sink is really great to me because paper making is one of the process I always want to learn or try, and which I never did it before. And with the sink inside the studio with me, I think it gives me a good opportunity to do it because I do need water and do need a sink and to start with. And also I think with the situation with my two homes and which is really, really sad in 2019, the hardship with these two homes of mine, Hong Kong and Australia. And Australia in 2019, we went through, the big bushfire. After that, we have flood and then COVID after. And then with Hong Kong, with the demonstration and all that happening, I didn't need to say about Hong Kong. You guys, whoever in Hong Kong know what's happening in Hong Kong. So this two home of mine is really affect me. And then with the paper making process, I think it really can reflect the situation with these two city, because country and city, and because I use the old paper to make recycled paper, and the paper I use is my old paper, like for instance, like when I'm traveling, the paper I collect, brochure from the gallery and things like that, and also I look after my one of my son's cafes money record document, and I use those paper, and those I think the business document is not about money. It's not only about money. It's about our everyday life. Like those local people, the ritual life come to, the cafe every day, and also the people go to work every day. And so that is sort of the symbolic of our everyday life. And then I turn to them to, I put them, in, pour all in pieces and put it in the blender to blend away. It's just like, these days, our everyday life become upside down. It's all totally disturbing from, from whatever reason. But then and again, I feel, in a way that is, I hope out of it, hopefully, that's a beautiful paper come out of it. So that is a positive side of it. And but with this paper making, first of all, I made the paper. I used this the international lucky symbol. Try to give it away, give people blessing. And then because at that time I'm expecting a grandchild, I'm going to become a grandmom soon, actually maybe today, because my daughter-in-law just went to hospital today, so it's very exciting. But anyway, actually,
congratulations! Maybe the end of this studio meeting, you will get the news. You have a grandchild now.
yeah. because of this grandchild, I start thinking about baby, and this security blanket, safety blanket, come to my mind. And so because in a way, I think we all need this safety blanket, you know. So, and then because we're adults, so I make a single size blanket. And so this is quite a big job, because after I make the paper, and then I have embossed the logo, and then I sewed it with my hands, every single stitches. But then while I'm sewing it, it's sort of like, you know, my mind is with my people in Hong Kong. It's, you know, every single one, I sort of like wishing them, you know, safe and all that. It's sort of like, I hope my sincere, the making of this work can bring them some luck, you know. That's how I feel. So, yeah, that is quite work. I'm very happy with myself that I have made it to, you know, to be able to, you know, wish both of my homes, you know, people from my home, whoever have done some hardship, to give them some comfort. And yeah. And,
yeah, I mean, to me, like, I can see so many layers for this work, because, like, as you mentioned, it relates to both your identity as a citizen in both, like, cities in Australia and Hong Kong, what, like, both cities has went through. Like, for the material, like the paper, like, it connects so well with, like, the bushfire in Australia as well, because, like, so many trees has disappeared, and, like, so many animals suffer, and, like, people suffer as well from, like, these, like, natural kind of, like, disaster. And, like, the paper connects back to the tree, and, like, how, like, we want the nature, like, we can see the nature is, like, healing itself now, because, like, nowadays we hear some good news from Australia that, like, is, like, coming back, the new, like, trees are coming back, the new life is coming back. So, and, like, for Hong Kong as well, like, I think the blessing part that you just mentioned, the safety blanket, like the bagabo that you just, like, mentioned in the traditional Chinese kind of tradition, that is the same blessing for the child.
Yeah.
That,
and this sewing process is very much like a healing process, and very meditative. And even the way, you know, I'll show you a little bit of the video, is, even though it's a process, but it's a very meditative and healing. Yeah.
Thanks for
Yeah.
sharing us this new word.
Yeah. I quite often like to, use sounds and video and, the sort of, to show my work, to create some work. And how about we talk about the work I start showing in Hong Kong?
Sure. Yeah. So actually, even like to the audience, that although like Pam is based in Australia, actually like in the past, very often she would try to like come back to Hong Kong. So actually, like in Hong Kong, I think she has like 2 exhibitions before, and one was at the Visual Arts Center, which is quite a massive one, like include many artworks in it. I think you have a video as well for that exhibition. Do you want to show that video first, or do you want to talk a little bit about the artwork first?
This video, Moment of Red, is this project I start from this exhibition in Hong Kong 2017. That was the solo exhibition in Hong Kong Visual Arts Center. And so I have a couple of friends help me with this project as well from the beginning, because they—
Hi, Gosha. Hi, Pamela. Thank
they interviewed the immigrant from Hong Kong for me, and I interviewed the immigrant in Sydney here. So when I in Hong Kong with this exhibition, I put it together, and then and this project is carry on to London and Paris as well. I took this project with me, and I interviewed the local people, local immigrants, and also with this video, all of the immigrants, they just majority, they just day-to-day, people, random people, and from all over the world. So you can see that is some from Polish, some from Pole, from UK, from Paris, from Bengali, from Sydney, from Korean, Japan. So, and with all of them, I only asked them 4 simple questions. The first one is the most happy times, and the most difficult times, and also would they consider to go back to their hometown to live in the future, and also what do they think about red? So it's a very simple question, and I don't give them a lot of time to talk to, because I like to give some space to the audience to let them think about why they have that sort of answer. And also, even those from all different countries, that is a similar point, they come up to the same answer, even they come from different places. So that is sort of like based on our human nature, human needs, that sort of situation. And also with the interview, I also asked them to draw me something in A5 size with red. They can just doodle, drawing, or write something about their the moment or their experience of immigrant. So I collect them all, and then I display them all with the exhibition. So this sort of drawing or writing, I have accumulated quite a lot, and they can get bigger and bigger. It depends how much traveling I will go. So
Thank you very much for having an interview with me. You've been in London from Poland for 7 years,
Yeah, I've
right?
been in London 7 years.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would like to ask you, over these 7 years, how you found, the most difficult things being in London here?
At the beginning was, for me as an artist, lack of contacts. I came without any knowledge about art market in London, not knowing any galleries. So the beginning was just searching online for suitable places to apply for residency, to apply for a show. I didn't even know how to send submission for the show. So I was just keeping trying, and I found residence at the Muse Gallery on Portobello Road. I was selected for a residency program in 2014, and actually everything has started since this residency. The program helped me a lot. It gave me lots of contacts. I met lots of amazing people, so it was like really good start for me in London.
Right. So it's lucky though, in a way. You eventually you found your way. Yeah. And what's the most happy things for being here?
Meeting people from all around the world, meeting people from every single country, and
Because so close to all the country in Europe, so
yeah.
lovely.
Not
And
only European,
yeah.
all countries.
In the future, would you consider move back to your own country?
I'm not sure about it. I found my place here, especially in West London, and my home is now here. I don't know how it's gonna be in 20 years, especially because of the Brexit situation now.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. And the last question, what do you see in red?
Red is a color together with white of Polish flag. So for me, red as a color is really important.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you. Hi, Jeff.
Hello, Pam.
So nice to see you again in London.
Yeah.
And I know you from US, and you moved from American to Sydney for living there for 8 years. Now you moved to London for 2 years. So over all this year, what's the most happy things in your migrant experience?
Probably getting married to my wife in Sydney. It was my happiest experience because it brought my family from the U.S. over to Australia and kind of, the colliding of worlds, I guess.
Beautiful. And what's the hardest things?
Losing touch and having to alienate myself from both my communities in the States and in Australia.
Okay. In the future, would you consider to move back to US or move back to Sydney or?
I'd probably move back to Sydney. I'm not sure if I would move back to the US.
Okay. The last question. What do you see in red?
Red, for me, brings up the music that I grew up with. In punk rock, the colors are black, white, and red, and so it brings up an idea of a passion, like a fierceness, and so that's what it makes me think of.
Beautiful, very powerful color. Eh?
Yeah.
Lovely.
If you wear a red dress, you partner to come with me, and then I know he's gonna go through this hard part, so I don't know if I want him to.
About 3 years, and now you are working as a musician here. And I would like to ask you, over these years, what is your most happy moment here?
Yeah, so one of my most happy moments have been collaborating with other artists in various forms, because since a very young age I have been looking for people to collaborate with or to create with in a way. But I think people are more proactive here so that they achieve what they want to aim for, what they're aiming for.
Okay.
They make more effort.
Okay. So, what is the most difficult things or moments you experience here?
Learning the driving rules, the traffic rules in Sydney, because I'm from Delhi and you cannot follow traffic rules there. If you do, you are in trouble. You're going to hit someone. You just have to save your ass in a way. But here you have to follow the rules so strictly that it was so overwhelming in the beginning, but now I'm pretty good at it.
Okay,
Yes.
interesting. This sounds like, when I was in China too. Okay. The third question I'd like to ask is, in the future, if there's a choice, would you choose to go back to India to live?
Maybe for a bit, because my family lives there, and my parents and my brother and some of my friends as well. And but not for long, because I really love Australia and I would love to live here for as long as I can.
Cool. Okay, the last question, what do you see in red?
Okay, so red to me is very interesting, as we were discussing earlier. I think red has a bit of a persona of its own. Red is almost a tangible entity, just like a person. You know, a person can be happy or sad, or a person can be good or bad depending on their state of mind or circumstances. So red is something similar. It signifies love as well as anger. It signifies passion as well as danger. So there's a lot of positive and negative revolving around red, and it is very extreme as well. Extreme positive, extreme negative. And so to sum it up, red is it signifies intensity to me.
How they
Pam, sorry to stop
Or
you.
you prefer to stay?
Sorry. I think you have collected so many like different stories, and probably like I think we should focus more on probably your work or other works. But before we move to the other works that you might want to mention, can I ask a question? Because like for these series of interview, I think one very unique question that I wanted to ask is like, why did you ask the question, what's the color red meant for these people? Because I want to ask you personally this question as well, because like when I think I'm not sure if the other audience has noticed, for Pam, like she uses the red color very often as well in her work. So what does like the color red meant to you as well, and why do you want to ask this question?
Yeah, exactly. Red is my my major color with my art, and I really sort of use art as expression of the emotion, and because I found among all the color, red is the most color that have both sides of the negative and positive qualities in it. With our Asian culture background, red is always a positive color and happy, festive, newborn and all that. But with the Western culture, then they have a positive side as well, like a love and passion. But then, when there is a stop sign, a danger sign, war, blood, death, and that is how they express with red as well. So I found this is interesting to show this two culture with one color. I can have expressed both, the mix of the both culture. And also as I said, because I'm very much focused in my immigrant experience and all that, the migratory, I found doesn't matter what skin color you are, yellow, white, black, brown, but underneath our skin, what color is it? It's red. So it's the, the other color which can collect us all. And as I always look at, no matter who you are, where you come from, at the end of the day, we're just human, and we have very much similar, we have those human nature that, is like, as I put on this program, this project, is sort of, doesn't matter where they come from, they do have the similar answer to my question, and so that is how I want to share, is to make people sort of more understand as people as a human instead of what color skin they are, so yeah, and also red is very powerful. It's so funny. When I was young, I don't touch red at all. I don't eat tomato. I don't eat tomato sauce. Won't touch the sweet and sour. All those red things. So yeah. So it's really weird that now I do my work with red, and even now and sometimes I come to work with even all white or black, and I think behind it is always that's red behind it. It's also sad, whatever is sad, happy, and it's it's red behind the story. So that's why I choose red. Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you, because I think it depends on the perspective, how do you see the things. There are so many different perspectives when you look at that, and same as the usage of the red color that you use. There are so many different meanings or layers that you could include in your art making. So thanks for sharing your favorite color. As you can see, Pam is wearing the red glasses as well.
my hair in red as well.
Did you dye it in red? Wow.
Yeah.
Great.
Very, so it's matching.
So actually, Pam has prepared a nice PowerPoint with a lot of information about her artwork and her past experience. But I think because we don't have a lot of time to go through each, I think before we maybe open to Q&A questions, in case any audience have any question, maybe before we move on to the Q&A, do you want to mention about maybe the upcoming project that you're going to have at the Articulate Project Space, your upcoming participation in the group show, and then so that people would understand what are you up to recently, and then we could open the platform for other audience to maybe ask question or share any comments you have on Pam's creation or characters or experience.
Okay. This is this work. Beware of the lines. Is going to be it's a work with. It's going to open this weekend actually. So I'm working on it at the moment. It's just they are just a sign, and as you see this staircase, I will paste this signs on every single staircase, and at the entrance or even in the toilet. And I sort of making it is like people be aware of the dog. Then you sort of feeling where's the line or where's the dog. That sort of same sort of mentally, you know. And I think maybe Hong Kong people, you know, like you might understand what this line I mean. And like in Hong Kong, since the national law came, you know, you're not across the red line, and you have to be careful with what you say, what you do. And but the funny thing is, I feel this wet line is, you know, even in Australia, I feel, you know, even the local, some white people feel this wet line as well. You know, people have this self-censorship that is quite amazing, you know. It's shocked that, you know, I found a local people will, you know, censorship with this red line. So, and this is sort of like a rebelling work that I put it on the stair. I want people to just walk over it, you know, go for it. It's no free, you know, don't have this fear scare you, you know, just go for it. And so it's a participating work, and I'm going to document, you know, how people react to it when the show opened, and which people hesitated to, you know, to step on it, or they want to walk, you know, walk aside, not to step. So that is that sort of moment, you know, of the people reaction. I think is quite interesting. And, you know, like for me to put the sign in the kitchen, sign in the toilet, it sort of really feel, you know, to want to tell people this line is get right underneath our skin and come to our private life and affecting, you know, over us. Be aware, you know. So that is the upcoming work, you know, I'm going to show in Articulate project space, and working on site, and yeah, it's sort of like a site-specific work too, you know. And that is another work I didn't have an image here. It's, you know, that work is called Fuck I'm Fused. I'm swearing. Can I swear? It's just the title.
Yeah, it's fine. It's a studio visit, so you can say whatever you want.
It's just the title of the work. Say, fuck, you know, I'm freezing. You know, it's some cold. You know, sitting in this spare room, and I will have a lit light. You know, a red lit light around it. It's sort of reflecting, you know, how the trade war between Australia and China, the coast, you know, all those shipping coals to China are sitting at the dock, waiting to, you know, to go inside, and then, you know, the cold sitting in the ship is freezing cold, and then the people inland are also freezing cold as well. So this is, yeah, the work I'm doing. So hopefully people in Sydney will, yeah, they'll be able to, you know, to come and visit me and have a chat with me. That would be nice. And if not, you can always see, you know, follow me on IG and see my work there. Yeah. So is this time for questions? Any questions? Any more questions?
Yeah, like if anyone has any question, or like even if you have any comments you want to share with us after like looking at all the works that like Pam has just shared with us, feel free to type in the chat box or like unmute yourself to share with us. While we are waiting, maybe I'll just mention one thing that like when I was like first hear about this new project that you're making, the Beware of the Line, actually like my first reaction was like, oh, where are you going to install the line? Or like if I'm an audience like visiting the site, like the exhibition, probably the first thing I will think about what's in the line on the signage. But actually, I will be like, where's the line? Like, what? Like, where should I look for the line, or where should I be where on? But that is like the metaphorical, exactly the metaphorical. Idea that you're sharing with us, like the line, we don't see it, like it's inside us, like that's what you have just mentioned, like the self-censorship of it, and where do we set that line, because like I think each person will set it differently as well. So thanks for sharing with us on about this work. I can't wait to see like how people react to it. Make sure like you share with us and maybe a like short video later on your Instagram or your webpage. I'm going to like put it in the chat box about like your website and maybe your Instagram account so that people could follow. And like in the meantime, if anyone has any question or comment, feel free to unmute yourself.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Emma. Thank you for sharing your work. It's been very inspiring. Me myself is immigrant in the US, and I've also made some work about, being an immigrant. And I'm very, very curious how your experience as immigrant has been changing since comparing to your early work that you discussed, all the way till your latest work, the response that you've been seeing from perhaps different groups of people, could be white, could be ethnic groups, could be minority group, could be Asian, could be Hong Kongese, could be mainlanders. Have any of their responses or your view on different types of citizenship and just relationships change throughout the years, and how has it been influencing your work going forward? How do you see your trajectory of your view of this whole topic emerge?
Such a good question. Actually, for me, being in Australia for all this time as an immigrant, I found it, even though as time to time I have some bad experience, but then in a way, I never put that ahead with, like races and all that sort of situation in my head. I just treat everyone like equally as just, as another, human being, and so I don't see there is much change in the experience I went through, because I find, no matter where you are, there is something happen, and also might not because we are immigrants, might not be because that person has races or whatever, it's just based on the human relationship, he might or she might have a bad time at the moment, and that's why the way he talked to you and all that. So I think that, yeah, I don't have much issue about, being immigrant, and and just, get on to my life and keep going. And I think that is my attitude, in a way, to deal with this everyday life. And I think I really, advise people to have this sort of mind in their head when they migrate to other places. don't think about, you know, people, you know, racist you or be rude to you because you're a migrant. No, you know, that might not be the case, you know. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you.
So,
That's wonderful.
was there a question? I'm sorry.
No, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. So it's just your experience and looking at it. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Emma.
Thanks, Emma, for the question. Yeah, I think like, as like Pam just mentioned, like I think sometimes like we take things a bit personal when we encounter like difficult times or difficulties, and sometimes I think like when we look at in a wider picture, or sometimes like when we step out of it, then it's like it's easier to like go through with it. It's easier to overcome it, I would say. And it's just like really amazing to hear like when Pam share like her story about going back to school, studying a bachelor degree, like, and then go on studying the honors and finishing her master. Although like there might be a lot of struggles for you because like in terms of your age or language barrier or all other like struggles, as you just mentioned, like you were talking to your mom like just like a kid saying that, oh, I just finished my test and like blah blah blah. Like it's the passion that you have for art. Like even you struggle a lot in terms of like maybe language or in terms of like really going back to school, that study model is so different from how you like has been like going like overcoming your difficulties in the past, but you still like insist like and trying your best and trying out all different kind of like materials or trying out all different experiences.
Discipline, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really inspiring for us to know that like even at different stage of life, like even at like imagine I was imagining after maybe 30 years or 40 years later, would I be that active and having that passionate towards like being so passionate towards life, being so passionate towards art as well. So I think it's really inspiring for us to hear the story.
Yeah.
And yeah,
it's great that if I can, you know, inspire people to, you know, to give this sort of positive energy, you know, towards them and to achieve the dreams, to, you know, to go for, you know, what they, you know, fight for and ask for. And yeah, that is, you know, achievement, you know, already. So yeah, it's great that, you know, even not my work, even with my experience, my personal, you know, story, if I can, you know, inspire people, I think that is part of the achievement as well. Yeah. So, and yeah, thank you so much for these people watching and joining us.
yes. And sorry, I forgot to mention in the beginning, actually for this Pay Student Visit program, I have my co-moderator, Joseph, here with us as well. Sorry, I forgot to mention it in the beginning. So Joseph is here with us. Like he's our project manager, assistant curator here. And like we have a chat with like Pam actually a few days ago, so like probably we know more about like Pam than you guys because we hear more like insider stories and but like I mean, like if you have any question, feel free like to grab your chance now and unmute yourself.
Does Joseph have any questions for me?
I don't have question, but I just want to say I feel very encouraging from that. Feel very encouraging from your work because you, or sometimes you present the unease feeling, your scar, or maybe very painful memory, no matter from the migrant experience or the sadness for your homeland, but you can always transform that negative energy into something very positive, blessing, and also maybe it's very, I guess this very self-healing process for you that to transform that kind of bad energy into a very positive artwork. And so I'm very appreciated. I can feel that positive energy from your work.
Yeah, yeah. I think we have to, you know, live in the positive and keep hoping. If not, we can't keep going, you know. And we keep walking, and you know, and then the hope will come, you know. And we have to believe that to, you know, to help all of us, you know, keep going, especially, you know, in Hong Kong, such a hard, tough, you know, time, you know. For me being here to watching, you know, all this happening in Hong Kong is really, really, you know, upset me, you know, to see my hometown, you know, turn upside down in a year time. It's just heartbreaking, very much so. Yeah. So I think for you guys, you know, living there will be even harder. So, and yeah, that's all I can say. Yeah. Yeah. So, and
So
anyone question? No?
so thanks Pam for joining us today. I think like I have shared your website and your Instagram account in the chat box. So if any audience or any of you are interested to keep up with Pam's latest project or like latest status, then please like follow her Instagram or like check out her website later. And thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. Thanks to the Australian Council for Arts as well. So thank you very much.
Yes.
And,
thank you.
enjoy your
Very
visit.
interesting show.
Thank you. Thank you. So just to let everyone know, last note is this recording will be on our YouTube channel shortly. So if you want to revisit it anytime, then please go to our channel and revisit it. And thanks for joining us again, everyone. And
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks. Thank you, Peggy.
Bye.
Thanks, Stella.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.